I'm gonna try to show you guys just how close this comes. Out here on the deck, without hitting my head. And then we'll watch Chris go through with his, which is even tighter. Oh, can you see that? Chris is making his approach. His boat just barely fits. He has to put the canopy down or it'll snag it. It's an optical illusion. I go through it all the time. I think it's gonna fit. It's making it. What do you think, Wavy Gravy? He made it. Just barely. I'm telling you, it's the nemesis of Ontonagon. But as long as you make it, doesn't matter if it's a 10 feet or a foot or an inch, as long as it makes it. Well, howdy guys and gals. We are on another Lake Superior adventure. And not when I say we, I don't just mean Wavey and I, even though of course she's here, but my buddy Chris, who picked up a really cool boat. I'm gonna show you all about it in this video, so you'll want to stick around for that. It's a cool boat. It's called a Holiday Rambler, built in 1957. I've seen one before. This is the second one I've seen. There's a whole big story behind it and how he got it and how it was built and such, and I'll just let him do most of the explaining in this video, so please stay tuned. I just talked to Chris on the phone, and we have decided we're going to stop in the Misery River tonight. So right now we're in Sleeping Bay, and we're coming in around Willard Point here, and we're going to try to get into the Misery River. Is that okay with you, Fleabag? Okay, guys and gals, we are coming up to the mouth of the Misery. And like I said, I have not been in here yet this year, so I'm not sure what to expect. I'm not seeing any opening at the moment, but sometimes you can't really see them until you're right on top of them, so let's find out. Okay, we found it. We might not even have to walk this one in. Might just be able to drive in. I'm driving in, but I'm cleaning the bottom. Well, good morning, guys and gals. So, Chris and I are in the Misery River here. Stayed here last night, as you probably know by now. And it's starting to rain. Nice, though. Feels good. They said the wind was going to pick up today, and maybe it will later, but right now it hasn't at all. It's the lakeside glass. So we're going to do the 26 miles from the Misery to the mouth of the Houghton and Hancock channel. We decided to do that today. I'll explain when we're en route why. It's one of those lakes you got to take a little bit of precaution and plan a little bit of a weather window because, well, like I said, I'll just explain it to you on the way. We have a lot of time today to do that at 5 miles an hour, so stay tuned. I'm doing it the hard way this whole time. There you go. Now it's my turn to do the same. I love you, my little workhorse. Still do. I ended up having to walk mine out a little bit over the bar. I think I need to raise this motor up or put a jack plate in. It's just mounted too low. I'm not getting the full shallow draft that I can pull off. And Chris is well, I'll show you when we look at Chris's boat in more detail. I'll point some things out. Okay guys, we are heading to the Houghton and Hancock channel. We're out in 20 feet of water now, so stay tuned.
Can't believe how flat the lake is.
I want to show you guys a little bit of what I call no man's land. See if I can explain it to you why I call it that. You can see there's a lot of cliffs. Anything up the Keweenaw from the Misery Bay up to the channel and even beyond, but you can see there's just nothing built up. I mean, there is actually some nice, beautiful homes up in the trees up in there. If I happen to spot some, I'll try to point them out to you. But for the most part, this is really just, no one out here. Just really wild, rugged. The little town of Freda, Michigan. A lot of folks will already know this, but for those that don't, I'm going to turn the phone around and just try to explain something to you here that could benefit you in the future. So we have a wind. The wind is kind of shifted coming from the east or the southeast, okay? And we're heading to the mouth of the channel there. And what we're doing, Chris is behind us here, we are getting closer to shore, so we're getting to like a wind shadow. And these are cliffs up here, or the elevation kind of goes abruptly up, and so I can already see that it's working. The waves are subsiding some, and I can see a line up there where the wind coming from that direction is coming over the top of those hills or cliffs, and then we would kind of get underneath it. And when we get there, I'll show you. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see this. Now it's still windy, it's gusty, but the waves are they're kind of bunching together, and they're little ones now, like little speed bumps or little rumble strips, and that's because most of the wind is going over the top of us. We're still in 40 feet of water, so I can even tell, you can kind of, probably not on camera, but I can tell, where it gets even calmer. I'll show you when we get there. Look at this, guys. The wind's going right over the top of us, right over that hill. You can hear the wind, but it's not hitting the water, so no waves. And we're gonna get a close-up of a waterfall. Let me see if I can find it. Right up here. All right, guys, here's that waterfall. If there's a name, I'll try to look it up. It's probably a river that dumps out right here. I'll see if I can find it, put it on the screen for you. There's the canal entrance way right there. About 4 miles away. No matter where it is, what boat you're in, or even really the conditions, when you come into a harbor, it just feels so good. But especially when the weather's nasty. Okay, guys and gals, we are pulling into Houghton and Hancock. I have probably showed most of you guys this town before, but we have a lot of new folks here from the Loop. And if you're still here, thank you, by the way. And I would like to show you guys around Houghton and Hancock a little bit, because it's a really neat town. Good morning, guys and gals. We are taking off from Houghton and Hancock. We spent a couple nights on their wall there, and no one charged us. No one came around to ask, so we just stayed. And we are heading, I guess it'd be east along the channel here. Not sure where we're going to end up, but there's all sorts of places we could. Torch Lake, maybe go to the south entrance or the east entrance of the canal, and all the places in between. I've always wanted to explore this area in more detail, so this would be the opportunity. Come with us. Stay tuned. Nice sunny day, charging up the batteries. Alright, guys and gals, just checking in with you. We're going into this channel right here, which goes up into Torch Lake. I've never been up here. Never. I have been up here in a car, but I've never been up here in a boat. So, uncharted territory, personal uncharted territory, and it's absolutely beautiful day. And you can see that Chris is over there with his little shanty boat, cruising along. We are going to try to find a little cove to anchor in and do some fishing, maybe catch some walleye or some northern pike or lake, well, sunnies, crappies, panfish. We'll see. Okay, come on, let's go. Let's go. Come here. Come on, up, up. Sit. Stay. 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 Go. Checking in with you guys. You can see we're coming into the narrow channel that comes into Torch Lake up here. First time, excited. And you see, like, that's the kind of stuff I want to get into and try some fishing. There's gotta be some fish in there. We're gonna try this little cove here, guys, see if we can get some fish. Well, good morning, guys and gals. Chris in the classic shanty. He's still trying to find a good name. If you have any suggestions for him, if you've seen the interview with him, put them below, and I'll run them by him, or he'll probably read them. It's storming today. Rain came in, a little bit of wind, no big deal. So we're pulling away from Lake Linden. We're gonna get out of Torch Lake here and go back down to the Houghton and Hancock channel. And I think we're gonna head to the south entrance or the east entrance just to kind of check it out, see if we can find a good spot with a wind shadow and maybe go to shore and go do some exploring. So stay tuned, we'll find out together. Okay guys, checking in with you here. So Chris over in his shanty boat and I are in Chassell Bay. This is actually, I think it's called Pikes Bay. I'll show you on the map. And we're trying to catch some fish, and we really don't, I mean, I know how to catch Lakers out in the lake, you know, pretty good, but all this, you know, in water, what would you call it, in bay fishing, total mystery to me. I don't even know where to begin. So I think what we're going to do is Wavey and I are going to jump in the Portland Pudgy, and we're going to just go cruise around. I'm going to use some spoons and some Rapalas, and I'll bring some worms, and let's just see what happens. Let's just get off the boat a little bit. We're anchored really good in a good spot, but we're just, you know, throwing worms out the side. We're not catching anything, so we're going to try something different. So stay tuned. We're going to try to get into this little river right here. Maybe going to the train trestle over there. We're in Chassell. Let's go check on Chris here, see if he's caught any fish. Howdy, Chris. Catch any fish?
No.
We're gonna go do some trolling with some Rapalas along the shoreline there.
Okay.
See if we can catch anything.
All right.
You good just hanging out there for a bit, or?
I am. I'm having a blast.
All right. Let's see if I can catch some dinner. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Well, the bridges just keep getting lower and lower. We barely slipped under the last one, and there's no way we're gonna slip under that one. It would take a kayak and you'd have to lay back. Someone keeps their boat here. Good morning, guys and gals. So we are going to the south entrance of the Houghton Hancock channel, and just to see it, just to say we got there today, and then we're gonna probably go back up to Lake Linden because it's July 3rd and they're doing fireworks tonight, I think, if I understand the website correctly. So yeah, come along, let's go check it out. You know, I have showed you guys this before in a video a couple years ago. We kind of rolled around there in a car and did some exploring. It's a lesser known visited area of the UP here. And there is a channel marker / lighthouse out there. I heard they've been doing work on it, so let's go check it out. Look at this beautiful home. I was not expecting to see this. Cows frolicking in the water in the Houghton Hancock channel. I love it. What are you guys doing? Just cooling off, or? Hey ladies. What you doing, ladies? Look over here. Gonna make good steaks and hamburgers someday. look at this gorgeous barn. Rock. Oh, gorgeous. And right up against the channel here. We're going to go around to the back side where it looks like it's a lot calmer. I decided to just anchor out just a little bit off the shore here, just in case the wind's trying to push the boat on and it'd be hard to get off. We'll see what Chris is doing. He might beach it. Let's go see what Chris is doing. Here's an example, guys, of some really sloppy seas. So we're going down this break wall right here, and it's bouncing up back, so it just makes this, like, I guess they would call this confused seas. And they're actually not a big deal. You kind of just skip over the top of them. But that's what happened. The wind's coming from this way. Hold on a second. The wind's coming from this way, and it's bouncing off the break wall there. But we'll be back in the protected channel here pretty soon. Good morning, guys and gals. We are leaving the North Channel entrance of the Houghton and Hancock channel today, obviously, making the corner and going back down to Misery Bay and onto Noggin eventually. And it's raining, obviously. And there's my fellow shanty boat captain, Chris Byler. We stayed on that beach yesterday, and we are loving life. Stay tuned. I love rainy days like this when you can get out of it. And Lake Superior opens up before us, and it's nice and calm. If it stays like this, man, we have had a seriously blessed day when it comes to weather conditions, travel conditions, where it counts with the wind and the waves. All right, guys and gals, just checking in with you here. It's just, look at these conditions today. And we're going by Freda, and I was just radioing Chris, he's just flanking me right back there. And we're gonna come in close and pass Freda closer so we can get a better view from the water for you. Look at these caves. Almost like, it's like Devil's Island out there in the Apostles. And then there's let's see if I can show it to you guys. There's a waterfall there just kind of gently cascading down the side of the hill there. You decide to get up and take in some scenery? Here's the Freda ruins up close, about as close as I think I've ever gotten to it to show you guys. I will try to find some historic pictures online back when it was in operation, which I think was up until like the 70s. You can see a lot of debris there, a lot of concrete. I think there was a loading dock here at one time, which must have been pretty difficult to get into when the weather wasn't cooperating. And you got the big stack. All the operations are up there. See how shallow it comes up here. Guys, we got this big, beautiful bald eagle flying around out here. He keeps, I don't know if I'm, yeah, let's see. He might be, okay, he's at the top of a tree. Let me see if I can show you. He's right there at the top of that tree. I'll put an arrow if I can. And he just keeps taking off and flying around. Chris is ahead of me right there. We're at the bottom. We're coming around that point right there is the start of Misery Bay. Misery Bay is a big bay. And anyways, yeah, we're just watching this eagle. And you guys, if you've been around my channel long enough, you know how much I love the eagles. God's getting our attention here. We'll see if he takes off again. He tried to go down and get a fish, but he missed it. I've never come to these cliffs close enough in my crossings up to the channel to know that these are sea caves. Not as impressive as the ones out in the Apostles, but they're sea caves nonetheless. We're going to come back here and explore these with a dinghy or a kayak here sometime.
Hard pressed to overload it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, I'm gonna present a question to the group here. I know I have a lot of folks that know a lot about boats, more than me, more than us. So, you know, Chris is getting to know this boat. He just got it, and it doesn't like to track. So you can see, like, I can stand out here, and for the most part, you know, my boat will go straight. We're going down, like, we have following seas, which helps a lot, and no wind to speak of today. But Chris's boat, we're just guessing it rides higher in the water, and it's lighter, you know, because it's not welded. It's a big boat, but it's not exactly a heavy boat. And he's always tied at the wheel. It's not terrible. It's not like my Vagabond, as you've seen in the past if you watch my videos, but it doesn't like to track very well. He's always having to correct. And so if you got any ideas, please mention them below. We're taking a closer look at one of these little small bays. Probably has no name. And just seeing that, like, if there was a southern wind, storm, you could duck behind there. And it's a nice little bay. Who knows if anyone even owns it, or... And then, if there was a northern, I guess you could call it a northeastern, you could duck behind that there too, so that other than the storms coming directly from, I'd say, the north, blowing right up onto the beaches here, you could get out of some weather in a pinch. After an all-day run from the mouth of the Houghton and Hancock channel all the way down to Ontonagon in fantastic conditions, we're pulling in. It took us about 6 hours. Let's see if Chris can still fit under the trestle. It's been raining a lot. The canopy just barely rubs the bottom. Look at that. Nice. Okay, now it's our turn. Okay, guys, thanks for coming along with us on this little trip, this little excursion. It was fun. It was long. We learned a lot. We went a lot of places. We went all over the Houghton and Hancock Channel, including Torch Lake. So that was a first. Much of that was a first for us. So I hope you enjoyed it, and many more to come. Check back with us. Stay tuned. Gotta get more dock space. Chris just pulls up next to the bank behind the little floating dock there. Pretty good job for being somewhat of a new boater.